All right, how's everybody doing? My name is Tin. I'm one of the advisors here at CUNY Start, if you do not know me. Um, so today I'm going to be talking a little bit about researching your careers. We're going to talk a little bit about industries and different trends in various industries that you're interested in. But we're also going to look at 3 different websites for you to research more about your career, um, all the things that you need to know about your career, including like salary, level of education, skills, abilities, all that. Okay. So you're going to be doing a lot of researching from home, and this video is just giving you like a little overview of that. Okay. So we'll get started. Let me see. Okay. So again, things that we're going to go over today. We're going to discuss some of the trends, upward trends, downward trends in the industry that you're going into. And then we're going to research your career by using 3 different websites. One is called My Next Move. Um, the other is called Princeton Review, and the last one is called mymajors.com. So we're going to visit all 3 of those websites and just take a look. Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to ask is what essentially is a major? I'm sorry, what essentially is an industry? Um, so there's a lot of different definitions, but I'm going to pick 3 that I looked up. The first one is the people and activities involved in one type of business. Okay. Something that is produced and is available in large quantities and makes a lot of money. All right. And the last one I think is one I like best. It's a sector that produces goods and related services that is within an economy. Okay. So if you guys can think about all the major or all the industries that you are pursuing, it falls into these definitions. Let's take a look at some of the industries you're considering joining. I just listed a bunch that are popular. So the entertainment industry, of course, is a big one. That includes, everything from music, movies, film, magazines, all that. Okay. Fashion, which is pretty big in New York City. The healthcare industry, of course. Transportation, real estate industry, business and finance, of course, New York City being one of the epicenters, and technology. Um, that's one of the biggest ones, of course. Okay. Of course, there's more, but I just listed these ones. These are a lot of some of the bigger ones. Okay. Sorry. Let me see. Oh, the last one was retail. Okay. So, okay. So, what industries are strong? I listed 3 right here. So, healthcare industry is very strong right now because there's always a need for doctors, nurses. Everybody's getting sick, as you know. And so there's always a need for that. The subset of healthcare right now is there's a big need for mental health practitioners that include social workers, psychologists, and there's a number of different factors for that. I think the stigma of mental health is definitely going down, and a lot of people are seeking, counseling for their issues. Technology, of course, is going to be pretty stable, um, unless there's something that is a big disruption in the technology. It's going to remain strong. Entertainment is fairly strong. Um, the thing about these industries and all industries in general is that it's going to go up and down, and it's going to go over changes over time. one of the examples that I want to point out is the music industry. If you think about the music industry, say 10, 15 years ago, when people were still buying CDs, and that slowly ended because people started to pirate music, right? And so also the advent of an iPod or a iPhone really changed the way that we listen to music. And so the music industry really kind of um, struggled to find its footing for a really long time. And lately, it's really been doing well because a lot of people are listening to they subscribe to services like Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, etc. So if you look it up, music industry, it's finally doing well. And I say that to say again, all these industries go through an evolution, right? And it's really up to you to look at the different kind of trends that your industry is going through. It's going to really impact how you work in the future, right? Whether you stay employed and all that. Okay, I listed the industries that are trending downward. Publishing is an industry that is really, it's been going through some issues for a little while now. Um, if you think about all the Borders, Barnes and Nobles, all those bookstores have really died down in the last, I would say 10 years. Um, when I was growing up, there were in San Francisco, there were 4 different newspapers in San Francisco. Now there's one. Um, so not a lot of people are really consuming their local newspaper anymore. And if they do read the news, it's mainly one of the big main newspapers, which is the New York Times, LA Times, Chicago Tribune, one of those 3, Washington Post, of course. So yeah, it really has shrunk over the years. Um, Magazines. When was the last time that you guys bought a magazine? Maybe it was at an airport to read on a flight, right? It's been many people consume their media online, and many people don't pay for it, right? So it's a very different kind of setup now and structure with publishing. So I say that to say, like, if you're interested in a career like journalism, if you're interested in writing for a newspaper or a magazine, like, how does that look? How does that impact your decision to be a writer, right? Not, suggesting that you don't become a writer, but it's really important to see the landscape in the industry that you're getting yourself into. The other one that I want to highlight is the retail industry. Um, and so if you look carefully, you walk around New York City, there is a huge, what do they call it, like retail apocalypse, where you walk around and you see a lot of different empty storefronts and stores shutting down. I think last year alone, Gap has closed 300 and something stores. Um, the other big one was Forever 21 filed bankruptcy. So there's a lot of change in the retail industry. Of course, Amazon and e-commerce, people shopping online, is a big factor in that change. Also, storefronts. It costs a lot of money to rent a storefront, so that's also impacting how we consume or we buy things, right? Um, a lot of this is just moving online, and a lot of it is being impacted by technology. So those are some of the things you might want to think about retail. Okay, I want you to think about factors in choosing an industry. The big one is technology. How is technology impacting your industry? There's so many different examples of this. Um, one that I'm just thinking off the top of my head is, when I was growing up, I used to go to rent movies at Blockbuster, but it got stomped out by Netflix, right? So that's one industry that really changed overnight, right? I'm going to show you a video of it's Amazon. It's about an Amazon store that was going to take place. This is actually an outdated video that I found. It's from 2016, so it's 4 years ago. This was when Amazon didn't make the purchase of Whole Foods yet, and they were really considering getting into, or already planning on getting into the grocery business. And this was their model. So some of you guys might have checked this out before, have seen this, but I'm going to show it to you. So just take a look. My computer is really slow these days. Um, oops.
What would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go. Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically. So how does it work? We used computer vision, deep learning algorithms, and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it Just Walk Out technology. Once you've got everything you want, you can just go. When you leave, our Just Walk Out technology adds up your virtual cart and charges your Amazon account. Your receipt is sent straight to the app, and you can keep going. Amazon Go. No lines, no checkout. No, seriously.
All right. So let's see. So if you guys are interested in going to an Amazon Go store, there is actually one close by us at VMCC. It is, I think it's what is that new mall? It's not Brookfield. Actually, it is the Brookfield Mall. So if you get out of the Murray Building and you make a left and you go all the way down past the West Side Highway, and you go straight past the Shake Shack, you're going to eventually run into the Brookfield Mall, and it's a smaller version of this. But you can essentially just kind of swipe your phone and log in to your Amazon Prime account, and then it's just like the store but smaller. Um, so you're looking at this, and you think about, like, if this kind of technology happens, like what happens to grocery workers who make um, you know $15-20 an hour, right? Um, they would essentially be not needed. It would be obsolete. And one of the things that I've been thinking about lately, it's just how I contribute to that, right? When I go to Target or when I go to Chase, I never go and actually to like a human being cashier. I'm just like, it's probably easier for me to just do the kiosk and just I don't know. And so um, yeah, that's the crazy thing is that technology is really changing a lot of different industries and a lot of ways how we interact. Um, you know, so the next one I want to highlight is politics, right? Policy that's going to happen, and I'll give you an example of politics and policy. The $15 an hour uh, law came into place a few years back in New York City, right? And so that was a big deal. That was supposed to help working class people, and McDonald's and Target, and we saw a video on Amazon. Has been really trying to get ahead of that by creating kiosks and having technology kind of take over human labor. So you know that's the version of that, right? Um, Another thing that one of my students, they always joke about, like, yeah, I want to get into the weed business, or marijuana, because that's going to be a big industry, um, and that it really hasn't been legal yet, right? We are expecting it to be legal within the next few years in New York State. It's already legal in California, Colorado, Washington. Um, but it's one of those things where it is an emerging industry, right? Not saying for you to get into it, or if you're against it, then whatever. But it's comes down to you guys voting, local politics, and you guys and people really getting behind a policy that they care about, right? So that is an example of, like, how politics and policy can really change, an industry. Um, and also the last one that I want to go over is the growing need, right? There is always going to be a new niche or a new need. One example I can think of is that healthcare right now is going to be very, very, very big because, one, we're in the middle of a pandemic, the coronavirus, right? Um, Two, people are always going to be sick, like I said. There is also a huge population of people growing older and becoming elderly. So the caring professions like nurses, doctors, home health aides, um, social workers, all those folks are really in high demand because there's a large percentage of the population that is going to need that care, right? Um, Also, I mentioned mental health because there has been a trend in people being more accepting and needing mental health practitioners. The other thing why mental health is getting so big is because in the past few years, I wouldn't say a few years, it's been for a while now, and we're still in it. There was a or there is a major opioid crisis, a drug crisis in the United States. And so it impacted a lot of people, right? And so there was a huge need for drug counselors, for mental health counselors. And so, yeah, that's another example of a need being met, right? Okay.